This is how we roll. It's the Slating Rink. Building our bankroll.
It is the Slating Rink. Thank you for tuning in. New theme song. We'll talk about that in a minute, but that song is straight fire and is never inaccurately predicted what you would see next after that song. You would see that song, you're thinking, okay, it's going to be something hard-hitting. No, it's just me, Chad Rink, your host, at Chad Ochocinco on the X. Follow me there. Follow me on Instagram at RinkNato. Go to fanstreamsports.com. Check out all our latest information, shows, everything there. So, yes, we have not done great so far in the DFS streets in NFL. So I decided what's the best thing to do? Get a theme song. I think that's going to help tremendously. It is a unbelievable theme song. It is so great. So we should now have all our fortunes turned around and start winning. So this is a unique, different slate. We're going to add it in here. Take a look at it. So there's some decent games. You got like Carolina, Atlanta. You don't know which team's going to show up for either one. Carolina smoked them last time. It is in Atlanta. Atlanta is coming back from overseas, so I don't know how that's going to play into it. I do like the Buffalo-Tampa Bay game. I know Buffalo looked bad against Miami, but I think this is a game I want to focus on. The Chargers in Jacksonville, I think you just get pieces here. I think this is not a game you want to stack. Same with Chicago, Minnesota. I like some pieces here. Minnesota, as McCarthy's back, he did face Chicago already. Chicago's defense is not the best, but it's in the dome, so it's good condition. So we will see. I think there's pieces here. I don't know if I want to stack because Minnesota, I think, can clamp down Chicago's offense. I really don't like the Green Bay, New York game. I don't know if Dart's going to play. Even if he does, that Green Bay defense is good. I do like pieces in Green Bay. It would be more, I think, of a team stack with Green Bay than running it back with anybody. Plus, the Giants have a new coach. Do not know what that's going to look like, how they're going to address that. So, it could be something like, do they focus on Tyrone Tracy? Do they add Singletary more in the mix? What's going to happen? If Russ starts, I don't want any piece of this. The interesting part would be if Jackson Dart cannot play and they start Jameis Winston. I would love that. As a Bears fan, I'm glad they didn't bring Winston. I kind of want to see Winston come in and lead them down the field and score just as a fan of Jameis Winston, but it would have sucked as a Bears fan. I would love to see them start Jameis Winston and he beats the Packers. I would love that so much. So that's something to look into. If Dart doesn't play, why would you go to Russ? New coach, let's just bring in the gunslinger, Jameis Winston. So Winston could be interesting if we hear he's going to start this week. Cincinnati-Pittsburgh, I think, is going to be a high-scoring affair again. I know Burrow's back in practice. He's not going to play this game. So I think people are going to be off Pittsburgh because of what happened on Sunday night, but it is the Bengals defense. So that could be a sneaky game stack play there. I really don't want any part of this Houston-Tennessee game. Stroud should be back. Tennessee's bad. Houston's defense is what I'd look at, but, maybe Woody Marks, and that's about it. San Francisco, Arizona, that could be one game that people aren't really on. I wouldn't mind maybe an Arizona stack with Brissett, Harrison, McBride, run it back with McCaffrey. That is an interesting one. I think Seattle, LA is going to be a slugfest. I can see this game being 17-13, or I could also see it, 32-28. I think both teams can score. Both teams have decent defenses. So we'll see. Baltimore, Cleveland, no. It's going to rain. As you see the little rain cloud there. I don't like it. I like both defenses, though. I wouldn't mind a Baltimore defense here against Cleveland. And then KC, Denver, I don't really know. I don't think I want really any part of this game. So I think I'm probably staying away from that. So the 4 o'clock games, the San Francisco Arizona game is the one I like the most. And then I do like the Baltimore defense. So let's just kind of slide in and let's build a lineup. Let's start with this Tampa Bay Buffalo game. So let's just mark those on there. And then if I'm going quarterback, either one, you're only paying $600 more for Allen than Mayfield. But I do like the Tampa side. So if you want to do a Tampa stack, run it with Baker, Ibuka, Tez Johnson. You can do that. I don't mind that at all. I like that. Even if you wanted to go Otten at 4,200 is something with Kincaid being questionable. Knox may be interesting at tight end, but I think I would like to go this way. And then if I'm doing a run back, why not run it back with James Cook? He's going to be the most consistent. I don't trust any of the receivers in Buffalo. So if we start out like that, we start out with a Tampa double stack with a James Cook run back. Then what we're looking at is what other pieces do we want? Is there a core piece from any of these games that we would like to have in it? And I think if there is, I think it's in the running back spot, and there's a couple of them. One, maybe Rico Dowdle at 6,800. He torched them earlier. But I do like Warren at 6,100 against the Bengals. I think he could have a big game there. I think he'll get a lot of carries. I think Pittsburgh can score. I think they can stay up on Cincinnati. So I do like that. But then I also, in this game, do like Jamar Chase at 8,500. Salary is going to be an issue here with the last two spots and a defense. So this is just, we're just going through playing this as we go. Again, I am not going to pay up on, I don't like paying up on defenses. It's just more of a crapshoot than anything else. If I am looking at a defense that could be kind of sneaky, to give you a little bit of something, in a game where you think there's going to be a lot of passing involved. Maybe the Packers on a short week going to New York, not a long drive from Green Bay, or a flight, I should say, but the Giants defense has been good. They can get to the quarterback. Let's just throw them in. You know, the Packers are looking, they're probably going to try to throw a little bit. So let's just throw them in, cheapest defense. If they get a strip sack touchdown, something like that, it's just a placeholder right now. And then you only still got 3,750 for the remaining two spots. So if you're looking at tight end, you were going to want to go cheap at tight end. They said Knox is one. I don't think that's cheap enough. So let's see anybody under $3,000 worth a look. I got Jonnu. I think maybe a double run back with Pittsburgh on our secondary stack. You got Jonnu Smith at 2,900. You got Washington at 2,700. Disley at 2,800 if Gadsden misses. I do like Arroyo's seems to be more in the mix here recently. Nah, not really. He just had that one game. He had 5 targets, and he did score a touchdown on the 2 targets that he had. So I'm not really digging that. There probably is not that really sneaky play there. So let's just go for the heck of it. Go one of the 3 Pittsburgh tight ends. Let's just go the cheapest Pittsburgh tight end, because I think they're kind of all the same. Washington's a guy. He just didn't get targeted much against the Chargers, but the last couple before then, 6 and 5, he did score once. He's a huge target. Just throw him in here, just kind of look and see what we're doing. That gives us 4,800 left for the flex spot, which isn't bad. You can maybe get a sneaky running back, or you got Kelsey. You could look at a cheap wide receiver as well, is probably what I'm going to look at to see what we have. Christian Watson at 4,400. I do not mind that at all. He has big playability. I think Green Bay can score a ton on this Giants defense. It's good, but the Packers, I think, can score. So that could be an interesting play, especially if you're playing the Giants defense. That does give you 4,400 now. If you want to get off the Giants, I don't love the Giants on that one. Denver against Kansas City. nobody would be on. We talked about streaming defenses on the Fantasy Football Island show with Tito. Check that out when that drops later on today. Denver against a Chiefs team that will throw the ball and does throw the ball a lot. Denver is a good defense. Nobody will be on it. You could get a pick six at some point there as well. So the other one I wouldn't mind would be Jags against the Chargers. The Jags are at home. We'll see. But I think I would just take Denver on that one. If you're going to do a Bucks double stack, let's say if we get off the Bucks double stack, and let's say we decided, let's get rid of all this stuff. We'll keep the Broncos in there as a placeholder. If we decided on that game, we wanted to go on Josh Allen because he did not look great last week and people may be off him. So you get Josh Allen low owned in a game where there should be a high total. So if you go Josh Allen, then what you do there is you look at like, what would you want to do with the receiver wise? All the receivers are very affordable. Gabe Davis, I don't know if he's going to play this week. He's at 3,500. I don't know if I would take that chance. Coleman did have 8 targets last week, but he only caught 3 of them. He did score a touchdown. And then you've got Shakir, who he would be the safest one. He just with his target 7, 8, 9, he's catching the ball at a high percentage there. So I think if you're going with Allen, I would take Shakir over Coleman and Davis. And I think I take him over Knox. I don't think Knox is going to be the type of receiver that Kincaid is. Kincaid is questionable. I do like Kincaid if he does play, probably over Shakir, but we'll go Shakir at 5,000. I still like Warren. I like getting pieces, Warren and Chase in this Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game as a secondary stack. And then if you're going to do a bring back with Buffalo on Tampa, you can go any way you want. You can go Abuka. I don't mind going Tez Johnson. He is getting involved. He's pretty consistent with his targets, 9, 6, and 8. He's getting 4, 5, 4 receptions, right around 40, 50 receiving yards, and he has 4 touchdowns on the year. So I don't mind that. And he is 2,500 less than Abuka, who I love Abuka, don't get me wrong. And then you got these targets, 12, 9, and 13. He is not catching a huge percentage of them. He's at about 50%, 33%, 25%. So if he can start catching some of these, he's getting more 7 to 9 receptions. He's got big plays. So I think I'd rather go Abuka than Tez. And I don't think people are going to be playing Allen, Abuka, Chase because it's not going to leave a ton left. And there's your you do a Allen single stack with a Tampa single run back. You've got the Bengals Steelers secondary stack. And then if you want to look at what other running back you want to look here in the game, like I said, I did like the San Francisco Arizona game. I doubt we can get to McCaffrey though. And McBride is getting to be up at 6,300. Yeah, we couldn't even get McCaffrey. We are not allowed to get there. So if you're liking this game, Harrison's at 5,800. He is he's got 10 and 12 targets. In this last game against Seattle, Seattle's got a good D. He only caught 3 of those targets. He did score on one of them. So I do not mind getting a 5,800 Marvin Harrison Jr. rather than a 6,300 McBride. And then if you want to look at the flex spot, that would be in the flex. If you want to look at the tight end spot, Kittle, you can't really get anybody else in this game unless you wanted to get like Cardinals receiver. But I don't know if I did a secondary spot there. I kind of like that game. I was looking at that. If you want to look, I do like having 4 guys on the floor, 4 o'clock slot though. What are we looking at for running back wise here? Dobbins is questionable. Then you got Harvey at 5,400, who would be the main beneficiary in that Denver backfield. Pacheco is questionable. You do have Hunt. You do have Brashard Smith. So Hunt got 11 attempts last week, 2 targets. He's getting a decent amount of rushing the last 2 weeks with Pacheco out. Smith, 7 and 8 yards on 3 carries. He's not really getting involved in the passing game the last couple of weeks. So, and then you want to look, you could maybe, is he there? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He had 2 rushes. So, I don't know on any of that. I don't mind if you want to look to get the Harvey at 5,400. That would leave you're looking rough at the tight end spot. So I think you may have to go Tez if you go Allen with that. I don't mind that. I still think get him out of here. Let's get the Broncos out of here for now. I don't know if I want to go to Allen or Mayfield. I think what you do is you maybe slide down. It's gonna be a little gross. Aaron Rodgers. Then I don't know if you want Warren. He's not really much in the passing game. And then if you're looking, Rodgers is going to be interesting because I think he's not going to give any rushing upside. And then Metcalf he's just not. I mean, he did not look good last week. He's not getting a ton of targets, not getting the yardage. Although, what the Bengals defense could help out with that. You have Austin. I know Wilson scored last week. He had 3 targets. So it could be ugly going Warren, Metcalf. And then if you go, what's John, see these tight ends you never know who's going to be in it. Freiermuth's the most consistent. He is the most expensive, but he's only 3,200. That would be a weird Pittsburgh 3-man stack with Rodgers and one being the running back. However, the Bengals give up so many points. And you run it back with Chase. I don't know if I want that Rodgers at all, though. Let's take a look and see another gross stack that could work out is if you want to go Michael Penix Jr. at 4,700. Obviously, if you go Penix Jr., you can go London. You could probably even go Bijan. Yeah, that would not. I don't know if you could get all of those. I don't know if you could get Bijan in there, but I wouldn't mind Penix. If I'm doing Penix, I'm just going to probably do a single stack with London. If you want to run it back, you could run it back with Dowdle, obviously. He's 6,800, so he's not overly expensive. You get a little piece of that game if you want. It's in a dome. Then you got defense, tight end, and flex. I don't want this game. And then if you go back, and then, like you said, you want to look at Jags, you've got the Broncos, Seattle. I don't know if I do Cleveland. If you do the Giants, throw the Giants in there just real quick. That gives us, it still gives only 3,500. So I think we're just a little top heavy with a lot of these guys of going London, Ibuka, Chase. I do love Ibuka Chase. So let's see if we can find some sneakier quarterback. Let's see what the issue with Dart is. Because I don't mind a Jackson Dart stack. He was a concussion. He would see. I think if you're talking the 7-day window, I think he's going to be sidelined. Let's just see what would happen if Dart is a no-go and they go Winston over Wilson. Then you get Winston at 4,600. Then, who are you going to pair him with? Who is the one that is most likely going to be the beneficiary of a Jameis Winston start? Wandell makes the most sense. He's getting targeted like crazy. think Winston can get that to him. Slayton isn't bad. I don't think any of these guys could be okay. I don't think, as much as I think Hyatt's a huge home run threat, I just don't, even with Winston there. So if you went Winston, Wandell, and then you decided to take a Packers, you want to go that, you want to go running back with Watson in the flex. That still gives you 5,700 for a running back and a tight end. So you are in pretty decent shape going with almost anybody. You can get Cook in that Tampa matchup if you would like. Get that Tampa Abuka, and then you're going to end up having 4,100 at the tight end spot, which is not horrible. You can get Johnson if you want to pair him instead of Wandell. That would save you a little bit of money. I actually don't mind that. And then it gives you 5,500 in the wide receiver spot. And I think maybe we can get someone a little bit better than that. I mean, you got Tet, you got Jordan Addison against the Bears defense. You have Shakur as well to add with Cook if you did not want to go Cook. I think I would probably go Addison in this spot. He, if the Bears try to shut Johnson, what am I talking about? Jefferson out. It could be something. Could be something that Addison didn't play against the Bears that first week, so I don't mind that. Again, that's just something you're gonna have to wait and see if Winston plays. So let's clear it out. Let's put a lineup in though. I do like Warren as kind of a core play in this. I think you got to play a guy against the Bengals, and I think that Warren at home in a game that the Steelers should be up. I like that. So another Woody Marks could be interesting. They're playing Tennessee. They should be up. He's getting decent usage. His average is not great. He's getting a little in the passing game, so I don't mind that as like a lower owned running back. I don't know if I want to pay up for running back this week. Like McCaffrey, obviously you can. He is getting, like, his fantasy points are always off the chart. The Cardinals are not great. Bijan is always a crapshoot. How they use him. He has not been great over the last 3 games. So not sure what that's going to look like. He didn't look great against Carolina last time, the travel. So do not know what I want to do with that one. So I know Dowdle is going to probably be pretty popular, and rightfully so, for what he did against Atlanta. He only had 10 for 30 because I guess he didn't blow up until it was Miami. So he has not played Atlanta. He is interesting as well. So let's get our stack in though. Let's just do Herbert. Can we do a Herbert stack? Herbert could be interesting as well against Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville's defense better. Let's just go back to our original one. Let's just do a single stack. I like Abuka. Let's do as a run back. Let's do Shakur because he's reasonably priced, and let's just do a single stack with Mayfield. Let's hope Abuka just gets all the work. Shakir run back. Let's do a defense. Let's just go middle of the pack. I don't mind Denver. I don't mind Denver. Let's just do that. They can get some sacks in there. Now let's look at our other running back. We have a lot of options here. Let's see what happens. Can we get McCaffrey in at $9,000? It's not going to kill us. And then if we go tight end, on the other end of that, I mean, McBride has just been targeted so much. I doubt we can get that in there. It's going to be tight with having McCaffrey there. Because if you're looking at a wide receiver, I mean, we have 3,500 in each spot. So, I mean, it's like scraping the bottom of the barrel. I don't know if I really want to do that. I mean, you could look at a Roman Wilson against the Bengals. There, I did want Chase. I think I'd rather have Chase than McCaffrey. Um, in this, I just think Chase is going to have a day. I just think so. I think he's gonna have the day. So then you're still going to have 3,800, which is a little bit tight. So let's take McBride out. Looking at tight ends, is Kittle had 9 targets last week, so they're looking back his way. Gadsden and Kincaid would have been nice, but they're both questionable. If you want to go double stack with Otten, you could do that as well. I mean, he's involved too. Let's do that. Let's just do a double stack with Otten, 4,800 left. At the running back spot, we'll probably have to save a little bit of money. I think there were a couple guys like Woody Marks at 5,400 could get us there. Monungai, I mean, with Swift there, it limits what he does. So I'm not big on that. The Walker Charbonnet thing has just been a nightmare for fantasy owners all year long. There's no one really down here that just screams that, yes, a must play until we get some more any injury news. So if we decide, let's just go against a bad Tennessee defense, let's go Woody Marks. Let's just not pay up too high on running backs. And it gives us 4,300 for the flex. And then let's see what kind of wide receiver that gets us here. So it could get us Kincaid, Cooper Kupp in a revenge spot at the Rams. There's not really too much, and I don't want to go double tight end either. So it can, like, having a Ibuka Chase in there with Mayfield. How about this? Let's just say we just go Ibuka, Shakur, no quarterback with them, and then let's look and see. Flacco's at 5,500. You got Flacco and Rodgers, which neither of them give you any kind of rushing upside. Although Flacco coming off a bye, being rested. If we do a Flacco Chase, we're running it back with Warren. It gives us 5,200 in the flex, and that will get us in this range, which we've been at still. So it's gonna be tough. Like I just like Ibuka and Chase. I do like Shakir. If we're not doing the double stack with the pack or the Bucks, let's go. Maybe we do double stack. We'll do Flacco, and maybe we do Noah Fant. Try Noah Fant out. You know, I don't know how he had 2 receptions on 0 targets last week. That's pretty amazing. But he's getting involved. He's had 2 touchdowns the last 3 weeks. So I don't mind that, doing a Flacco double stack with Chase Fant, running it back just with Warren. And then it gives us 6,200 for okay. So this is what I like. This is going to be a nice amount. We can get to Rashad White if we wanted to. We could get to Dunze against Minnesota, which I like. We could do Vidal, although Jacksonville's defense is good. They gave a ton of points last week. Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think that, and we could also go Chase Brown. He has looked just not great, though. So I don't mind any of that, ETN. So there's a lot of ways we can go. I think what I would do is, I mean, Adunze has been, when he's getting the targets, so good. Like, I don't like that Cincinnati game, still looking at that 3 targets, no receptions, and they score 47 points. Just boggles the mind. He was 6 for 9, 37 yards and a touchdown against Minnesota that first week. So I don't mind Adunze. I think I would probably, I wish we could get to McBride in this game. Like, if we went double tight end, and then just go ahead and get off the Broncos and then do the Giants. But you know what? I like the Broncos. McBride's not there. I think what we'll do is Marvin Harrison Jr. has been involved big time the last couple weeks. So it's either him or Dunze. the way to go on this. You're saving a little bit more with Harrison, so you're leaving some on the table. A Dunze that the Bears could, I think the Cardinals, I like the Cardinals maybe a little bit better at home. Give me Martin Harrison Jr. So that could be a play there if you do the Flacco. I don't mind having Flacco. I think that's where you want to save money is in the quarterback spot. So that's what it looks like. I don't know if I'll play that. It saves like $400, but still going to play around with it. It's still just Tuesday. So there is just a lot of stuff still out there that we're still waiting news on. So I think the big one is if Winston gets to start, then I think I'm going to be all on Jameis Winston. And then looking at some of those games. So it's just an early look. I might come back with a quick 3-stack Slating Rink this week to kind of maybe condense, hey, here are 3 stacks that I really like. Once we get more news, maybe do that on a Friday. And that way you can listen to the great theme song again. But this was the first look edition on the Slating Rink week 11 of the NFL. Thank you for checking us out. Go to fanstreamsports.com for this and all the other shows from Dallas, Tampa, and Ohio. Thank you for tuning in. And again, we return you back to a forward all slate.